Welcome to Forever and Ever with Olajumoke Adewumi. My guest today is Benedicta Okpor. Somebody I've known for quite a while. I met her through my sister-in-law and also on the mission field in Nigeria. Benny, as I called her, is always smiling. She's very cheerful. She's just very relaxed. Even when she talks, it's always so relaxed and very relaxed person. And when I heard her story, I couldn't believe it. Wow, so she went through this. You could never have guessed. She's come a long way. And I know that even though she went through an abusive relationship and she survived it, she still believes in marriage. And it's something that she will that someday, God willing, it will happen again. So I want Benny's story to inspire and encourage you and to challenge you that you can, whatever you are going through, you can survive it and you'll be the better for it. Thank you. Hi, Benny.
Hello.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're
welcome.
Good to see you.
It's the same here. I like your hair.
Thank you.
Welcome, Benny.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you. You look lovely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, I read your book. My sister-in-law told me about it. You launched it on your when you celebrated your 50th birthday,
yes.
Which you invited us to, but my husband and I couldn't make it. And I hear it went well and you thoroughly enjoyed yourself.
Yes, I did.
Yes, very good. Yes, this book, I went through it and I thought to myself, wow, quite interesting. And I know there are various issues that were raised in it. Is it possible for you today to take us through those various stages? Because it is your journal, you recorded it. Because you recorded it as you went through this because it released some pressure in you.
Yes.
Can you take us through those various stages in your life that you thought was insurmountable and you overcame it and you are now able to tell the story? Can you take us through it, please?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so the book, like you said, is my story through an arranged marriage and domestic violence. So I was given away in marriage at the age of 19 by my parents that thought the best for me, that's the best thing for me. Even at that age, you know, so many people were like trooping in because that's what they do at the time. So my parents made the choice and so I was just at home one day. They said, oh, they paid your dowry. And I said, okay, whatever you think is best for me. So the journey of marriage began. So I was prepared for 1 year to go into the marriage, and by the time I went into it, I was 19. So I was actually 18 at the time. So the marriage itself, at the time, marrying somebody that is 14 years older than you is not new, because some people went in like that and they were loved and they lived together happily. But I don't know whether it's the age gap or it's just the person that he was, I don't know. But throughout the journey of it started in Nigeria. I was there for a few years before I came in here. I was never ever one day treated as an adult, even though I was 19 at the beginning. I can remember a few things, like at the beginning, you know, when you bring food and you put it in a tray and you could forget to bring the napkin to wipe the hand after washing it. And I remember one day everybody was sitting in the living room and my skirt was used to wipe hand, like, how dare you, you know, you didn't do this. I can also remember a day after I had the first child, and there was this gathering outing that he was going. He came from England, and I was getting ready. I've arranged a babysitter thinking I was going, and I was told, where do you think you are going? The gathering, they will all be graduates there, and you are not a graduate. That day I thought, wow, I'm going to be a graduate and even more. So, well, everything happened. I was living with my brother-in-law and he was living here. And all of a sudden, my brother-in-law became sick. We were going from one hospital to the other, and my husband came home briefly for the weekend to see how the sickness is. And to my amazement, after I left a week later, I fell pregnant, so pregnant for child number 2. And we're in the process of this illness from one hospital to the other. And with my experience now as a very high-skilled nurse, I now know that he had maybe hepatitis C,
Okay.
or alcohol liver disease, because all the signs of hepatitis C was present there. You could see, or kidney failure, whatever it could be, but it wasn't properly diagnosed. Instead, they started going from one herbalist to the other, who now told them it's a food poisoning, and that is transpired. I was the one cooking, so I poisoned him. Then eventually, almost a year, he died. So I had to go through that process of being a murderer with 9 months pregnancy, and then, you know, they did this thing they called necromancy, carrying the corpse, looking for the killer. The killer went somewhere else. They said the corpse lied, and I was taken through this torture of being a murderer. At the time, I was like 22, you know, with pregnancy. So anyway, the child was born, and because they were not convinced, and I was still alive. I was meant to have died because they put knife, cats, dogs, everything they can in the corpse that could kill me during child labor. But I didn't die. So one day they just like evicted me and my children and sent us away. And we moved out. We went back to my parents' house. So that, for me, at that time, the dowry was returned. So the marriage was resolved at that time. So that was a defining moment for me to say, you know what, that's my fate. I'm 22, I've failed, you know, and the marriage was over. But about a year later, he came begging, and the dowry was paid back. And a year later, or a few months later, I found myself in the UK, but abuse continued. It just continued. Like, I just want to go back home. So there were a lot of defining moments from the children growing up, and there was nothing good that they were learning. You know, they started learning to swear because that's the language that is used in the house. And I thought, this is what I do not want. And I had no help. I knew hardly anybody in the United Kingdom. I didn't know what to do. So at that time, I started preparing myself for an escape route. What can I do? So I managed to get myself a job. Started working, doing menial job, cleaning, then got a job as a healthcare assistant where people identifying me to say, you are too good for this. Don't you think you could go into nursing? I said, yes, I wanted to since I was a child. So that was how the journey of, okay, if I could do this, register as in I'm not working, they could support me with childcare. And that was how I went into it. And everything just got worse. Everything just grew worse every day. Because within 1 year I came here, I fell pregnant again, and I had the 3rd child by the end of that year. Everything just went worse. Like, you are smelling hospital, you're doing cleaning, you're doing this job, you're not supposed to be touching the food, and things just went from bad to worse. So there were moments where I thought if I could just have help to escape. So, but at the end, you know, after a few years, I graduated from nursing school, from Access to Nursing, and I found an escape route and left. So there was no moment where I was like, okay, there's peace at last, to work on it or fight for what? You are fighting somebody that is way bigger, older than you, and you ever remain a child, you know. So there was no agreement to say, okay, although we went to church together as a family, but there was no unity in the house. It's okay, we pray together, we do things together, and things like that. And one of the defining moments for me was we go out and you carrying the child, you carrying your bag, you carrying the baby bag, and then the snow used to be really bad, and there was a day And the man is walking with the car keys and one hand in their pocket. And there was a day I was holding the toddler, carrying this one, carrying my bag, and I just slipped and fell. That day I thought I died because I hit my head. I thought, that's it, I'm done. But I realized that, yes, I was still living. So if I had help, that was the day I would have said, you know what, I've had enough of all this. But God kept me there for a reason. And by the time I left, I was a qualified nurse. And, you know, the children were in a better place with me because I had the ability to be able to support them. Yeah.
Do you think that going into marriage very young, assuming that your parent had asked you to marry this man, maybe when you were in your 20s, you went through school, you've gone through whatever career path you wanted to be, do you say you would have married the man?
Because I would have gone through courtship, then I wouldn't have. Because it's not a pretentious person that say, okay, I'm hiding my character. He's who he is. He's an alpha male. He's somebody that wants to put the next person in his pocket. He does that to male friends as well. So would I have? No, I wouldn't have. Because I would have seen him for who he is within few months.
So there was no opportunity for you to go counseling or seek professional help in any way? You couldn't have done? I mean, looking back now, what sort of help is out there for people who have gone through this particular situation that you're talking? I'm still going to explain to me to our viewers there who perhaps might not fully understand what are the elements of a domestic abusive abuse in a relationship. What are the signs that one needs to identify? What can one do to nip it in the bud? And what can one do perhaps to help the man? What kind of help can you seek even to help him further? Perhaps he's going through any difficulty that might be causing his action or reaction. As a professional, are you able to take us through this?
Okay. Yeah, so the elements, the signs that you can spot from, if I say from courtship, so you're going out with that person, being it is the male or the female, it starts with the controlling, like, it's not the way it's not what is said, but the way it is said. It can be something as menial as, you can't wear that, you can't eat that. Oh, don't you think you are too fat or you are too thin? You know, you need to keep an eye on those signs and just be watchful of them. It starts with controlling, having their way, want to win the argument all the time. You keep an eye on those signs, because if you overlook them, it does not get better, it gets worse. It builds on. So if you know that you really care about this person and you don't like the way you're being treated or being spoken to, you can ask that both of you can seek help. There are a lot of help out there that you can seek. There are help for women, there are help for men, there is counseling, even in church or in the secular world, there's a lot of support and everything out there that you can seek from the onset. And if you know or see that this person is never going to be changed and that is how they are, then you need to find your escape route. You need to leave before you go in and not able to come out, or you come out as being divorced. So you need to keep an eye on those signs. Like you go somewhere, you're not allowed to talk to somebody, to speak to anybody, or somebody look at you. Why did they look at you in this way? You need to keep an eye on those signs for you to know. But if you are in the marriage already and all these things are happening and you were not aware when you went into it, you need to seek help. There are women aid, there is women refuge, there is a lot of help out there. There are also for men, for people that are being exploited in one way or the other. So like you said, the signs that the type of abuse that is out there, it's not just like the beating, the physical hitting hitting you and beating you. No, that one you can hide the scar inside your clothes. But the emotional trauma of belittling you, that one you cannot hide because it's in your head. You will feel this little. I remember being told once, not once, all the time, like, what are you wearing that for? When I started working, they say, okay, now I can afford to do my hair. And I like colors. I'm a woman of color. I like, bright colors. And did my hair with a gold extension. And it's like, oh, you look like a tart. And I look at myself in the mirror, like, how do I look like a tart? I went to church and I asked them, do I look like a tart? They said, no, you look lovely. So I found my self-esteem very, very low because of those emotional trauma, things that were being hammered in my head, telling me how ugly I am. I'm kind of person, since I was growing up, my parents couldn't afford makeup, but people look at me, they said, oh, you're such a beautiful girl. So how can I grow into my teenage years and a man is telling me that I am so ugly? So what has changed? So who do you think you are? Who do you think, if you think you go through that door, anybody will look at you, nobody will look at you, you are so ugly. So I felt as bad as a doormat, so I never thought you worth anything. So for somebody to put you through those emotional trauma, so there is also the financial bit of it. You go to shopping, you're not allowed to put things in the trolley, or even you're not allowed to take the trolley. I didn't even know that the £1 you put into it, that you can get it back. So you see, when I came here, my first child was 3. So when it was 4, 5, you'll be carrying basket. Me with pregnancy for the third one, I'm carrying basket. I'm trying to carry the toddler because we are not allowed to take the trolley. I didn't know you take the £1 back. So things like that, so controlling. You can only eat what the person eats. Imagine with pregnancy, the smell of some kind of fish or things that we cook, you can't stand it. But that is what he wants to eat, and that's what you must eat. And you're not working. So there's that financial bit of the abuse as well. And it also range from sexual abuse. So even when you're breastfeeding a child, or you don't feel like you have to because your dowry was paid. So the abuse range from all sorts of abuse. So, but there is help out there. There's help out there. Because I was new in the country, I didn't know the law of the country or how to seek help. My saving grace was I started working, and when I went to work, and because you can't cover all the bruise, as a nurse you have to be bare below the arm, and my manager was like, what's all that in your body? Come, I need to see you in the office. And she started making phone calls, and they said, oh, your children are too old, we can't have you in women refuge. And that was how I know, oh, it's true. So somebody is telling me you need to leave. So yeah.
Yeah, from what you've described now, I can see so many elements that a lot of people, especially maybe it's a woman who peradventure might be controlling, could be the man who is controlling, or sees various aspects of it, and they are not aware that those are elements of abuse that you can inflict on a person, and they don't see anything wrong with it. What do you think such a person should do? I mean, even before they are married, right up until they're married, they're still single, and they begin to see they're having a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a fiancé, and those things are coming out. What can such a person do?
Well, from where I am now, where I'm sitting now, what they should do is to actually have a conversation with the person. So that conversation is not what you have like when you're having dinner or cooking. It's the type of conversation where you tell the person, we are going out for a meal, we need to talk. Okay, you might think, okay, public place is not the best place, but maybe it's the best place. If you think the person could be violent, you have a table in the corner, so they know that you invited them here because you want to have a conversation. Or in the middle of the night, get up, I need to speak to you. The way you speak to me, I don't like it. You do this, you do this, you do that, I do not like it. And if the person is reasonable and they do not know that what they are doing is affecting you, they will be willing to listen. But if the person, just how they are, they may apologize for that time, buy you a gift, and it will happen again. So you need to give them room to forgive, and also give them room to know that this is what they are doing you don't like, and see them repent and change. So for somebody that is innocently just doing it, it's not in their nature, they will change. That would be like a moment where they say, oh wow, I never knew this thing was affecting you like this, and your relationship will change for good. But if it's not meant to be, that person is just controlling and it will lead to something worse in the future, then the person will not change. It will happen over and over again. And you need to know that, yes, this is not for me, and just end it.
While you were going through all this, were the children aware? I mean, you have 4 children in this relationship.
Yeah.
Were they aware of what was going on, and how did it affect them?
Yes, the children were aware, because they were also at the receiving end of it. I can remember they were not allowed to visit friends. I remember one day I took one of them to drop them at a party at their friend's house and picked them up, brought them back home. So between parking the car and going in, where have you been? And they were beaten. So I remember some unreasonable beatings that it's not really justified. I remember one day I just took the kitchen knife that if you don't leave this child, I'm going to stab you. So they were very aware, and when they started using those swear language that they use in the minicab firm, I thought, no, this is not. So they were aware. The last straw that broke the camel's back, that day I was being hit and almost going to be pushed down the stairs. It was one of them that picked up the phone and called the police. So the children were aware. I wouldn't say I shielded them, because everything was happening in the open. I've had 4 children, and I managed to get to the GP, put myself on contraceptive pill, and I have to hide it in the car. So when it was found in the car, I came back one day and the children were being showed, look at what your mom is taking to kill the children in her belly. I'm like, what's that? Kill the children in her belly after 4. There's no children in my belly. I'm just taking it not to have more, because 4 is enough. So the children heard and saw a lot of things. I couldn't shield them from it. Because, how can I shield them from it? I can't shield them from it, because they were also at the receiving end. So they were part of the journey, and I have to make that decision to bring them out of it, because they were better off. There's nothing they were going to learn. You're talking about somebody that told me from the beginning that as a black person in this country, the highest you can get is a cleaning job. So if you are lucky enough to get 2 key job cleaning, then you are made. And I go to church out there, I see people, they're looking good. I say, what do you do? This one said, oh, I studied pharmacy in Nigeria, and here now I'm going through the training to become a pharmacist. I say, really? Can you become a pharmacist as a woman in this country? I'm talking about early 90s. And she said, yes. I said, I've been told that as a black woman, this is the maximum or the best you can do. They said, no. The lady said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I gained admission to nursing school before I was given into marriage, and I've always wanted to be a nurse. She said, then go for it. I said, really? She said, go for it. And tomorrow, she lives in Florida now, we are still friends. She encouraged me to go for it. And although I didn't go immediately because I didn't have the courage to do so, but I started aspiring towards it. So yes, the children were very aware.
I know one of the things that the society tells us is that somebody who's going through abuse, has been abused, will be an abuser themselves. Is there any way that you've taken the children through counseling so that they can at least have a closure in that particular area of their lives? Do you think that would help them?
Yes, that helps. That could help. That will help. But the children at this moment, they are at an age where they are adults now, so they have to make their decision. But what I did do at the time after I left was I went to, in the church, there was this woman organizing a program for women, single parents. And something I took from attending that program that day is that you should find a mentor for the children. Fantastic. So a mentor that couple that are married. So I went home, I called a meeting because we used to have monthly meeting and I used to also have one-to-one. So I call it a date. Oh, it's my date with this one because I was trying to like let them talk, you know. So one of the things I do was to have those one-to-one that I go out with one person each week. So if I find that one person is needing it more because of their attitude or something, I will do more with that person. So during the one-to-one, I discuss it with them. Who in the church do you think you could have as mentor? They have to be people that are married and they have children of your age. So the first one did not choose. He just shrugged his shoulder. So I said, okay, can I choose for you? I'll choose one of your teenage teachers in the church. He said, okay, that's fine. The second one chose, the third one chose. The young one was only 5 when we left, so I didn't put her through that. That was my ignorance because I thought she didn't see anything. So she's still under my wings. So by the 3, I found them a mentor and I spoke to those mentors. I said, my children and I, my child and I have identified you if you could support in this way. You know, I'm a single parent and you and your wife, if you could help me. And they agreed. And the one for the second child did very, very well because he went to their house regularly, spent time with them, they went on holidays together and they mentored her. They did a very good job. The one for the third child also did well as much as he understood the vision behind me asking him to do it. Initially, I don't think he did, but I think his wife did. To some extent, they did what they could. And I think because of that, even when I left the church, he still attends the church, although he's not close to them, but he's still within that covering. And the first one is not it doesn't speak that much. It doesn't say a lot, but he saw more because he is the one I told him, I said, you know, I've only just qualified. I don't have much. I'm not earning a lot. I may not be able to get this kind of 4-bedroom house that you will live in. Do you want to stay with your siblings or whoever want to stay? Let me go and settle myself, then I'll come back. He said, no, we're coming with you. So they all came with me. So they saw a lot. So I've not given up. So the one-to-one reduced because they started making excuses as teenagers. Maybe they don't want to be seen with their mother sitting in Nando's in one corner, or they don't want to, and the meeting topic changed to, oh yeah, that person now did that to me the other day, as opposed to the aim of it, and that reduced as they were growing up or moving to university and things like that. But I still pray every day that whatever it is that they've seen, that they've heard, or the experience they've gone through, that God will help and deliver them from it, and they will not repeat, that affliction will not repeat itself in their lives
again. Thank you very much for that, because I know that the society can sometimes tell you what you're going to become, or what is going to happen to you. So it tells us that you can make a choice, even if everything seems to be going contrary, a choice to change. A choice to change your ways, a determination that even though I'm going through this internal conflict, this struggle that is making me react this way, I can determine that I can change. And with the help out there, there's so many places, organizations that can offer help, that can offer counseling, that can help you face your fears and be able to take a different direction. Say, I'm not going to do this. This is the path I'm going to take it. It's a journey, and it's doable for anybody who have tendencies and in that regard. So it's quite enlightening to know that today. One other thing that I wanted to ask you today is that going forward, your views on marriage is, do you think marriage can work? Do you think marriage can last forever?
Yes, I think marriage can last forever. I think marriage can work. I think marriage is a good thing because it's an institution. It's instituted by God. So I think it can work, provided the foundation is there. I think marriage is a good thing and it can work because there are so many examples. People that have been married for many, many years and they live happy. Offenses will come, people will offend each other, but if the basis is right, two people that love each other come into that union, it's a school that they keep learning every day. Nobody knows it all. I think it can work.
Okay. How important do you think love is in marriage? How important?
Yeah, I think love is the foundation of marriage. So you see somebody and first of all, you're attracted to them. So you're attracted to them. Okay, I like this person, I'm attracted to this person. Then the love comes by what you see. Oh yeah, I like that. I accept their person, the way they speak, their intelligence. You are like-minded. Everybody don't have to be intelligent, but you have to be like-minded. You have to be agreeable. So love is very important in marriage, in the relationship to grow. Because if two people love each other, they will be financially stable. The Bible said that one will chase 1,000 and two will chase 10,000. So with love in a relationship, you work together, you will grow in your finances. Because if one person decide along the line, maybe because of raising children, or I need to work part-time, you have two incomes. Love will also help the two people to live healthy life, because when you are in love, you are happy, and it boosts your immune system. Medically, it boosts your immune system. It fights any disease you may have because you are happy, you are in relationship with somebody. When you go out there, no matter what you face, you come inside, somebody will encourage you. Somebody will tell you, oh, never mind, tomorrow will be better. But if you are single, when you go in there, you are just facing your wall. Love helps people to live longer, gracefully. A single person can live longer, but if you are in a love relationship, you live gracefully, because everybody has their appointed time in life. So it doesn't matter how short or how long it is you live, but you live gracefully because you have a partner, somebody you bounce off with, to somebody that encourages you, somebody that will validate you, even if everybody out there or your work at the appraiser, they say you didn't do well, you call me, somebody said you did something right. So those are the things, and many more that love can do in a relationship. Love will help you to fight, like I said, fight the disease, because it boosts your immune system. You are happy. It makes you are mentally stable. If you speak to people that are in mental health field, you will see that more people that are in there that are mentally unwell are single people. I have been single for a while and I know the difference. So you may come out and look very good in your outward appearance, but inside there, you go to that party, you are driving back home alone, and the two people, they are together, they are analyzing the fun and they are dancing step and they are laughing. It makes you happy. So
even when you fight,
even when you fight,
you're going to make up.
Exactly, you're going to make up.
So
the making up is the best part of it.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but as a single person, you go home. When you fight somebody else, you go home, you face your work. You're thinking, okay, I've got the children will go home. They will go. There'll be a time where they are in the house and it's like you are alone because they are just doing their own thing. They are tired of hearing you. You come to the living room, they've all left. They leave the living room because that is how it is. But your husband will not leave. They will come and sit next to you. So love is a good thing.
So I want to believe yes, that it's interesting. So with this season of your life, moving on from where you were now, how do you foresee the future?
How do I foresee the future? I'm the kind of person that takes one day at a time. And I believe that I'm a work in progress, like I said at the end of my book, that I'm a work in progress. I can see that my tomorrow will be better than it is now, that my latter years will be greater than my former. I believe that I will get married, and I will marry the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh, and I will live happy in the future. So that is how I foresee my future. I am not a quitter, so I am not discouraged at all. I believe that everything I've gone through have prepared me for a better tomorrow.
Amen. Amen. So, do you have any advice you give to married couples out there? Just a few words.
Yes. So my advice to married couple is that you're living with that person. If you choose them, I say the word if you chose them, because I entered into one that I didn't choose. But you meet the person, you fall in love with them, and you choose to marry them. Just remember the reason why you choose to marry that person, that you love them. So when the offense comes, you know that you have to forgive. You have to forgive and live beyond that offense, because the grass is not greener at the other side. You may see a single person, they're driving a new car, or they are looking so beautiful. You don't know what happens when the shutters are down. So you have to live with your spouse. You have to learn to forgive. You have to make sure that the nights will not go down on your anger. You have to speak out, and you have to love each other and live happily, because there is nothing in life. The life is too short.
Thank you. There you are, you heard it from Benny. I want to encourage you and challenge you that whatever it is you are going through now, there's help out there. Seek help. If you have the propensity to be abusive, seek help. Take charge of your life. Make a U-turn and decide that wherever you are now is going to be better. Your tomorrow is going to be better than today. Make a choice to change. Thank you very much. Benny, thank you very much for coming on the show. I've enjoyed your company. This conversation has been very enlightening for me, and I want to believe that you've been encouraged as well.
Yes, I have.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank
so just a small gift of appreciation.
Lovely. Thank you.
So for coming.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.